You're at a crowded tea stall in Mumbai. The air smells of cardamom and city dust. Someone orders a cutting chai. The chai wala nods and says, Acha. One word, soft, casual, tossed mid-air. But here's the twist. Acha can mean a dozen of different things depending entirely on the tone. Flat, acha. Curious, acha. Drawn out, acha. Sharp, acha. Same word, different tones and completely different meanings. This tiny moment hints at something profound, a question that has fascinated philosophers and cognitive scientists alike. This idea, called Wolffian hypothesis, suggests that language just doesn't help us communicate. It influences how we think, perceive time, understand space, feel emotions, even how we experience the reality around us. Language subtly yet deeply influences the thought, and that's what we are diving into today. Not just how words express thought, but how they shape them. Because whether you say acha, theek hai or I see, you're not just responding, you're showing how your mind is wired to make sense of the world through the quiet power of everyday words. We often think of language as a tool for communication. But what if it's more than that? What if language is the very stuff of thought? Take Bengali phrase theek ache. It literally means alright, but emotionally it's a warm yes, a gesture of solidarity, or the Marathi word barobar, technically correct, but used in conversations, it means I'm with you. A flicker of shared understanding. These aren't just cultural quirks, they are neurological breadcrumbs. In a 2015 fMRI study, Smith and Kroll found that people processing emotionally loaded phrases in their native language showed significantly more activity in amygdala, a key emotion center, than when hearing the same phrases in their second language. Your brain just doesn't hear the words, it feels them too. Let's go to Northern Australia, where cognitive scientist Lera Bordotsky studied the Cook theory, an aboriginal group with a fascinating linguistic trait. Their language just doesn't use left or right, they speak in absolute directions, north, south, east and west. So instead of the cup is to your left, they would say the cup is southeast of the plate. Sounds intense? Here's what Bordotsky found. These speakers were uncannily good at navigation, even indoors, even as children. Why? Because their language trained them to constantly orient themselves. In another experiment, participants arranged images of a person aging. English speakers placed them left to the right. Hebrew speakers who read right to left did the reverse. And the Cook theory, they laid them out east to west, regardless of how they were seated. They didn't think in left or right, they thought in coordinates. Language has rewired their spatial sense completely. So, what's happening in your brain when you use language? When you speak or listen emotionally rich words, especially in your mother tongue, you activate not just Broca's and Wernicke's, the language typical areas, but also amygdala and hippocampus, the emotion specific areas. Take the Tamil word seriya. It technically means okay, but it can be a nudge, a check-in, even a silent support. Your brain doesn't just process this, it responds to it. That's why emotions feel impossible to translate, because your brain has built entire emotional maps around how your language holds space for them. Now zoom out to India, a nation where language is everywhere, in every form. A child might speak Telugu at home, learn English, text in Hindi and joke in Hyderabadi slang. That's not just multitasking, that's mental cross-training. In a 2012 MRI study, researchers found that multilingual speakers had denser grey matter in regions linked to focus, memory and emotion control. Why? Because their switching languages constantly works out the brain's executive functions. It's like giving your mind a daily gym session. In short, if you are bilingual or multilingual, your brain is learning to flex, adapt and feel more deeply every single day. Let's go deeper. Language doesn't just reflect intelligence, it helps build it. Say you're tired. In English, it's I am exhausted. In Tamil, it's Enakka sorvarda irukirdu. Fatigue is upon me is what it means. The sentence structure makes tiredness feel like something physical, felt across the body. That sentence doesn't just describe how you feel. It activates more brain regions, sensory, emotional, cognitive. Or consider how main samajh gayi, I understand, signals something much deeper than a passive theek hai. It's a sign of empathy, clarity, mutual presence. The more precise your words, the more precisely your brain fires. That's not magic, that's neuroplasticity. Your brain adapting to the vocabulary. Language doesn't just shape thoughts, it builds connection. Think of grandparent whispering Urdu to a child. The power of it isn't just in the word. It's in the warmth, the rhythm, the memories, the layers behind every syllable that was used. Language is how we connect. It's how we care. It's how we remember who we are. Every word you say, it's theek hai, barobar or seriya, is doing something remarkable. It's shaping how you think. It's training your brain. It's forging connections. It's telling the world who you are. In a country like India, where language is alive, diverse, and always evolving, that's a superpower. So, here's a question for you. What's one word in your language that means more than it seems? A word that shapes how you see the world, because behind every word, there's a world waiting to be told.